Have you ever dreamed of achieving something big, but felt like the odds were stacked against you? This is the inspiring story of Adam, a young man who started with nothing but a dream and turned it into a life-changing success, all through hard work, courage, and never giving up. Let's dive into his incredible journey. Hello, everyone. Today, I have an incredible story for you. It's not just about improving your listening skills, but also about inspiring you to chase your dreams. This story, called Nothing is Free, teaches us about hard work, determination, and the power of never giving up. In a small, peaceful town surrounded by tall mountains, there lived a young man named Adam. He was just 20 years old, full of energy and dreams. Adam dreamed of owning a chain of restaurants and becoming a successful businessman. But life wasn't easy for him. Adam's family was struggling financially. His father, Mr. Peter, worked as a mechanic, fixing cars to support the family. His mother, Mrs. Linda, cleaned houses to help make ends meet. Adam's younger sister, Emily, who was 10 years old, looked up to her brother as her hero. One cold evening, Adam sat outside his small house, gazing at the twinkling stars above. "I want to give my family a better life," he whispered to himself. "But how can I do it when we barely have enough to survive?" The next morning, Adam shared his thoughts with his father. Mr. Peter listened carefully and then said, "Adam, dreams are not free. If you want something, you have to work for it. Start with what you have, even if it's small." His father's words stayed with Adam all day. He thought about them over and over until an idea struck him. In his town, people loved fresh bread but had to travel far to buy it. What if he could bring fresh bread to the town? However, there was a big problem. Adam didn't have any money to buy the bread he wanted to sell. Undeterred, he decided to approach Mr. Brown, the owner of a bakery in a nearby village. Mr. Brown was known as a serious and cautious man who rarely trusted anyone. Adam walked several miles to meet Mr. Brown. When he arrived, he said, "Mr. Brown, I want to sell your bread in my town, but I don't have money to buy it up front. Can you trust me for 1 week? I'll sell the bread, return your money, and keep a small profit." Mr. Brown looked at Adam with suspicion and asked, "Why should I trust you, young man?" Adam replied confidently, "Because I'm determined. I will work hard, and I won't let you down." After a long pause, Mr. Brown said, "All right, I'll give you bread for 1 week. But if you fail to pay me back, don't come here again." Adam was thrilled. Early the next morning, he carried the bread back to his town and set up a small stand near the park. He greeted everyone with a bright smile and said, "Fresh bread, warm and delicious." At first, people were hesitant. They weren't sure if the bread was good. But when Adam offered free samples, they were pleasantly surprised. Soon, he had his first customer, then another, and by the end of the day, he had sold all the bread. That evening, Adam returned to Mr. Brown and paid him back. The old man nodded approvingly and said, "You kept your word. Come back tomorrow." From that day, Adam worked tirelessly. He woke up at dawn, walked to the bakery, carried bread to his town, and sold it with enthusiasm. After 2 months, he saved enough money to buy a small cart. The cart made it easier to transport more bread, and his sales increased. One day, a customer suggested, "Adam, why don't you bake your own bread? You're great at selling, but if you bake, you'll earn more profit." This idea excited Adam, but also made him nervous. He had never baked anything before, but he knew that to grow, he had to take risks and learn new things. The next day, Adam asked Mr. Brown, "Will you teach me how to bake?" Mr. Brown frowned. "Why should I teach you? If you bake your own bread, you won't need me anymore. That's bad for my business." Adam replied sincerely, "You're right, but I'll never forget the man who gave me my first chance. If I succeed, I'll make sure your bakery benefits too." Mr. Brown thought for a moment and said, "Fine. But baking isn't easy. It takes time, patience, and effort. If you're ready for that, I'll teach you." The lessons began early the next morning. Adam arrived at the bakery at 3 a.m. Mr. Brown showed him how to mix flour, knead dough, and bake it to perfection. At first, Adam struggled. His hands ached from kneading, and his bread often came out too hard or too soft. One day, after ruining another batch, Adam felt defeated. "Maybe I'm not good enough for this," he thought. "Maybe I should give up." But then he remembered his father's words, "Dreams are not free." He realized that every mistake was teaching him something valuable. Giving up was not an option. With renewed determination, Adam returned to the bakery the next day. Slowly, his bread improved. After 2 weeks, Mr. Brown handed him a loaf and said, "This is perfect, Adam. You're ready." Overjoyed, Adam rented a small oven and started baking at home. His family was amazed by his hard work. His sister Emily helped pack the bread, and his mother made tea to keep him going during late nights. Soon, Adam wasn't just selling bread. He started making cookies and pastries. People in the town loved his products and often said, "Adam's bread tastes better than anything we've had before." However, success wasn't easy. One day, a fancy new bakery opened in town. It was owned by a young man named Ethan, who had a big, colorful shop with eye-catching decorations. Many people started buying from Ethan, and Adam's sales dropped. At first, Adam felt worried. "What if I lose everything I've worked so hard for?" he thought. But instead of panicking, he decided to improve. He asked his customers, "What do you like about Ethan's bakery? What can I do better?" Some customers said Ethan's shop looks clean and pretty. Others said his cakes have beautiful designs. Adam realized he needed to grow, not just as a baker, but as a businessman. Using his savings, he painted his cart, added bright decorations, and started offering free samples of his new pastries. He even learned cake decoration by watching videos at the library. Slowly, his customers returned.